The college football season rolls on despite Tennessee winning the national championship, or at least celebrating like they did. I'm Robin Lundberg here with Pat Forde and Richard Johnson. And Pat, we know the Vols beating Alabama was big, but when the season is over, how big will it be?
It's got a chance to be huge. Not only does it keep them, very prominently in the Southeast Conference race, but I think they could afford to lose to Georgia, be 11-1, and still very, very strongly considered for the playoff. Beating Alabama gives them a huge quality win. They've also won handily at LSU. They won at Pittsburgh. They beat Florida at home. They've still got a game against Kentucky coming up, so they've got chances to continue to add to that resume. And I do believe they are in position where, depending what happens elsewhere, you could end up with a loss, not win your division, not for your conference championship, and still possibly make the playoff.
All right, now let's spin forward to a big showdown, Richard. UCLA and Oregon. I guess we're calling this one the Chip Kelly Bowl?
Yes, Chip does go home, at least a recent home. When he used to coach at Oregon, he heads to Austin in what's the biggest game of the week out west. What's interesting about UCLA is they sit undefeated, and I think Chip is kind of a case for patience for a lot of teams and a lot of programs that would have fired their coach for much less than what Chip Kelly has brought to the table in the few years that he had been there before what looks like a breakthrough this year. I mean, when you look up and down UCLA's roster, that roster is about as old as a college football roster can look. I mean, you got a lot of redshirt juniors, a lot of seniors, a lot of guys that have played a lot of football, and a lot of guys that have played a lot of football for UCLA. They have clearly developed their talent, and they have held that talent together. Portal, all that kind of stuff. These are guys who have played a lot of ball together. And it's cool to see that UCLA's administration didn't really quit on Chip Kelly when they very well could have at the end of the season last year. They gave him another year, they gave him another shot, and the Bruins look like they are very serious out on the West Coast.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the opposite of what his offensive philosophy was known for, right? Keeping it quick, but they kept it patient with Chip.